So I wanted to take just a minute and talk about airflow while using mining tents or grow tents for mining. So in this tent, there's almost 2 gigahash and about 6,000 watts. A lot of people have a lot of issues with hot spots, meaning hot air spots. So in this tent, I have 4 air intakes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 4th one ducks back to behind 2 box fans that are in the rear there, stacked one on top of another. The box fan's purpose is to create breeze going this way, across all these cards. So it blows this way. It blows at an angle. It's not square with anything. That's the corner back there. In that corner, I'm dumping cold, fresh air. About a third of the way up on the tent. The bottom section stays very cool, even with 11 1660s and a 3090 down there. It stays very cool. It doesn't really need a whole lot of extra fresh intake. So the fresh intake starts to dump into the fans here, but I also have a fresh intake at this level, which dumps for this shelf. This shelf shares a fresh dump with this one, which has a louver to be able to kind of dump some here and then some across there. If I move that louver, it affects the temperature of all of these cards dramatically. I mean dramatically, it changes it. As well, if I change the angle or position of that 6-inch duct in the back where that brings fresh to the box fans, that will change these dramatically. If it goes down, the temperature on these shelves goes up a lot. So my exhaust, I have one up there in the corner, just pulling any hot that gets up, kind of stuck up there really high. I used to have an issue when I put my hands up here above this flap area, you could feel just stagnant heat. So that eliminated that. Then we have one over there. I used to have a duct on that and brought it down to around this level, trying to get the heat from this kind of third tier. It didn't really work that great. Found that taking that off and just leaving those 2 open spots worked very well. And then I moved the duct over to that corner area and dropped it to this farthest side of the third tier because I still had a hot pocket kind of right in this area. I've got a lot of 580s down in here, and all those 580s produce a decent amount of heat. Plus they don't really have the box fan behind them to get a lot of the heat from these 4 cards. So having this intake so that the heat sort of rises from there, and then as the heat's pushed from those cards over, it just goes right out that tube. There's about 20 degrees of difference. I like to use these. They're very cheap. You can get a 10-pack. They're probably $1 a piece. And I just leave them, I try to not leave them like on main points of airflow or right in front of air vents because they're gonna give you false readings and be really cool. But I like sticking them in places like that, all over the tent, and then you can quickly just see where hot spots are and sort of make adjustments that way. I like to have one of these on every shelf. They work very well. You'll notice that humidity in the mining tent will stay between 10 and 25%. It stays very low, even on a humid day outside. So I'm not air conditioning any of this. This is 100% outside air. This is my intake. It uses a filter underneath, and those filters are 20 by 25 by 4s. So everything in here stays really clean. This stuff is a little bit dusty right now, not much. You can see some dust there, a little bit of buildup. These have been running here for about 4 months now, so very, very clean considering the run time. And my cleaning frequency has gone from about once a month to once every 6 to 8 months. So, and then the cleaning that I do have to do is extremely easy. There's no real sticky stuff. It just blows right off. It's extremely dry. The size fans I'm using are an 8-inch for the exhaust, and I've got the equivalent of a 10-inch for the intake. It's technically a carpet drying fan, but I've made a shroud to adapt it to 10-inch ductwork. So we started at 10 down here, pulled one off, reduced down, pulled one off, split off 2 6s from the top. So that's the gist of kind of what I've figured out with mining and grow tents. I know a lot of people have had airflow issues. I hope this is helpful.